gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you ain't hearing. Reporting live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we won't know what special meaning. We on it live with no gimmicks. No gimmicks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again, alongside my chat team partner Dale Clifford out there in Fernley, Nevada. And welcome to yet another episode of the No Gimmicks Podcast, broadcasting on the 3 and Out Radio Network. Dale, what's good, my man?
What is up? All right, so we're Survivor Series weekend, and we get NXT War Games, and I was kind of undecided coming into this one a little bit, and I definitely left highly entertained, for sure.
Yes, that much is for sure. So welcome to our like or dislike edition of the good, the bad, and the ugly for NXT Takeover War Games. So let's get straight to the main event here. We had the Undisputed Era versus Sanity versus the Authors of Peyton and Roger Strong in War Games. So for the like for this one, I have to say really everything that took place once Sanity joined the match and the match officially began was good. Overall, I think the action was, just like at a pretty, solid pace and everything. The spots were just out of control, including getting to see 300 and some pound Killian Dane fly coast to coast for a drop kick. Seen, like some color throughout the match, because I think people thought that because in 2017 and the era that we're currently in, we would not see any blood. Also, just like, them utilizing the fact that there was no roofs or no ceilings on the cages to be able to do some high spots throughout the match. Dale, what'd you like about this one?
When you see blood nowadays, especially in the 2017 era, it came a pretty tough way, because back in the day, it's like you would see the spots where wrestlers would do it to themselves. You had Eric Young was bleeding from the nose here, and then obviously the big one was Alexander Wolf when they did the suplex spot, or when they did the spot through the tables, getting a pretty nasty cut on the back of his head. Those were all done the hard way, meaning they were not done by the wrestler doing it to themselves. Well, doing it to themselves is the best I can say.
I would have to say my dislike for this match was I thought the pace at the beginning of the match was just a little slow, but then once everything picked up, once Sanity joined the match, you kind of got an idea as to why they took things so slow at the beginning of the match, because they couldn't just go at 100 miles per hour, throughout the whole entire match. What was your dislike for this one, Dale, if you had any?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I could see that. It kind of felt slow until you got all the teams in there. But again, as you said, it had to be paced out at the beginning. It was like you had Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Eric Young, a good three to put in there to start the match, and I absolutely thought those three guys did a great job of getting us to basically the official start. So so War Games definitely delivered indeed. So moving on here to our next match from NXT Takeover War Games, we had Drew McIntyre, who was the NXT Heavyweight Champion, taking on Andrade Cien Almas. So my like for this one have to be the fact that Cien Almas came with the upset victory and won his first NXT title over Drew McIntyre. Dale, what'd you like about this one? Yeah, I've always liked Andrade. I just his matches have definitely been entertaining from beginning to end, and this was just a nice climb for him through the pecking order of NXT. Well deserved for him. And it just kind of goes into this thing of Drew's title run just seemed like it was kind of flat. And a couple of bad things that I've got coming from this one. Obviously, one of the biggest one might be the fact that it appears Drew McIntyre got injured.
Yeah,
and he may have tore a bicep. So that is unfortunate. And now it's like the question will come: do we actually ever see him in NXT again, or is he going to be a main call up once he gets healthy again? And then the other bad that I've got is kind of video game related to this one. As I pointed out, it's kind of a shame that Andrade is not an official character on the new WWE video game. He's like the longest tenured guy on the roster to not be included on the game.
Oh, shame on you, WWE 2K18, but I guess he's going to be a part of the downloadable content now, right? I mean, it basically has to be.
No, it's like because they've already come out with that. It's like he's not going to be an official part of the game at all. And some of the talk that they had is that he chose to not be on there because it may have been at the time when they were going back and forth on who was going to be on the game, was when he might have been having those contract issues and trying to get out. And now, now it definitely looks like he's more happy to be in WWE at the moment. So
I would say so. Yeah, being the top guy in the developmental territory at least. So yeah, your dislike was basically the same as mine, echoing the same sentiments about Drew McIntyre's title run. I was not a fan of it at all. You know, it's kind of sad to say that the most memorable thing about Drew McIntyre's title run was what? A picture of the 3 members of the Undisputed Era laying his ass flat down on the mat after they jumped him, you know, at the last TakeOver pay-per-view. That's probably the thing that sits out in my mind the most about his title run. So moving on here to the Fatal 4-Way. We had the women's Fatal 4-Way match. Kairi Sane taking on Nikki Cross, also Ember Moon, and Peyton Royce. This was for the NXT women's title. So for the like for this one, I have to say Ember gets a well-deserved title win in her home state, you know, delivering a captivating performance in the process. Dale, what's your thoughts?
Absolutely. My like is Ember. Thought that she should have gotten a win over Asuka to kind of end Asuka's run. I get what WWE's doing with it. They're trying to build Asuka's streak all the way even into the main roster, so I understand. But I definitely felt like Ember had built herself up to be NXT champion and one that could have tackled Asuka had the opportunity come up. It didn't, so it's nice that they put the title on her here.
Yes. So for my dislike here, I can honestly say I'm impressed with what I saw from Ember Moon. A very solid performance from Kairi Sane in this match. And Nikki Cross, she's just winning me over each time she shows up. But my goodness, I'm still not impressed very much with Peyton Royce. Dale, you have any thoughts on that or any dislikes?
I don't know. I was like, I saw a couple interesting things from all of them, but that's kind of the one thing is Peyton and Billie Kay are kind of two more of the developmental, and obviously so is Ember Moon a little bit. But Billie Kay and Peyton have kind of WWE's like chosen women that have come up through the school. Nikki Cross and Kairi Sane are a little bit more experienced outside of the WWE umbrella. So I was like, we'll see. I kind of thought that Peyton might actually win here, but it was good to see that Ember did. So
yeah, and I don't think you were the only one who felt that either. I know there's a couple Peyton Royce fans on Facebook, especially those who interact on my page on there over on Facebook. So moving on here to our next match, we had Aleister Black taking on the Velveteen Dream. So my like for this one is I absolutely love the psychology utilized throughout this match and the evolution of the Velveteen Dream character. You know, the facial expressions, the mannerisms, the airbrush tights that really remind me of the ones that Ravishing Rick Rude wore when he was feuding with Jake Roberts back in the day. Patrick Clark, the guy who portrays the Velveteen Dream, has come a very long way in a short span of time. Dale, what's your thoughts?
Absolutely. He was very inexperienced when he was on Tough Enough. And to think where he is now, going toe-to-toe with Aleister Black, Tommy End, and putting on a phenomenal match in the match that basically is the biggest match of his career, and he didn't disappoint one bit. Yeah. So very good to see that, and definitely it looks like the future is bright for Velveteen Dream, and obviously we know that Aleister Black's a superstar. So
the future's so bright for Velveteen Dream, he's got to wear shades, not with just covering 2 eyes, but even covering the 3rd eye too. Did you notice that? That was a nice touch there. So my dislike for this one, I have to say, although I do like his new finisher, it's kind of like a cartwheel version of a dead belly driver, very unique, by the way. I just don't like the fact that the Velveteen Dream doesn't use that beautiful elbow drop that came from off the top rope anymore. And I think that has to do with the fact that Kairi Sane is now using that elbow drop as her finisher, so they don't want 2 people, even if it's, you know, from 2 different divisions within the company using the same finisher. Dale, your thoughts on that?
Nope, hit on the exact same thing. You saw him tease it here, but he didn't go for it. And that was the thing that I had noticed when he shifted to this rolling Death Valley driver. I was like, did they get rid of his elbow, which I thought was just a outstanding elbow? And I'm like, did they get rid of the elbow drop because Kairi Sane uses it? So I'm thinking on the same lines with you there.
Yeah, that is lame. So moving on.
Like, to give another thought, though, that might be a bad. It's like I kind of thought that maybe it was like what a fitting way that this match should have been was a stipulation of a Say My Name match.
Okay, yeah, you had said that when we were texting each other back and forth, and I can agree with you on that one. They kind of missed an opportunity for stipulation being added there. So moving on to the first match from NXT Takeover War Games, we had Lars Sullivan taking on Kassius Ohno. So my like for this one is both big men look strong in this contest. You know, both of them got an equal amount of offense in, and just some very impressive, freakishly strong athleticism from out of Lars Sullivan. I mean, especially you have mentioned this one, Dale. It was like a power slam spot that he did on Kassius Ohno. So what's your lights besides that, I guess?
Yeah, well, it was like my big like from this one was the pop-up power slam that he did to Kassius Ohno. I liked the hard strikes that both of these guys delivered, because that's just kind of what you need when you have two big boys going at it. Is you've got to see them throwing some hard blows, and they absolutely did that. It's like Kassius has got the elbows, he delivered them, and obviously, and you saw all the power moves that Lars threw at him. The one was like my bad from this though is, as good as the pop-up power slam looked, I just didn't dig the finisher that Lars used in this match.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more impressive, I would say, probably on smaller guys, but it just kind of looks like a drop on Kassius Ohno, and I thought that he kind of needs something more impactful on bigger guys.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think the pop-up power slam should be his finisher, really, in all honesty. But then here we go again with the whole gimmick infringement thing, because there's someone using a power slam on the main roster, isn't there?
Yes, Braun Strowman,
who happens to be a big, strong guy. So, yeah, so that might not happen for him. My dislike, now this is an interesting one here. I remember going back to Yay or Nay from about a year ago. We debated about Kassius Ohno. Actually, he was still Chris Hero at the time, about, you know, like his gear. How it's kind of like, you know, a parody of some of the NBA teams and whatnot. In this case, college basketball team in particular. Nothing at all against the Duke Blue Devils. But you're in Houston, Texas, the home of the Houston Rockets. Also, you know, the Houston Astros, who just won the World Series, and you're coming out sporting Duke. I didn't quite get that. I mean, he's not from North Carolina. He's from Ohio. So, I mean, it's just like, where did that come from? Any thoughts on that?
Like, no, that's a very good point. I was just bringing it up. I was like, I was just going to boo him because I'm not a Duke fan. But
okay.
But it's like, but you could kind of look at it as like, he's supposed to be the good guys. It's like a huge moment there is to just do University of Houston, do the Houston Rockets, Houston Astros, Houston Texans, any of the Houston teams. Is like you're going to get a huge face pop there just by the attire alone, and he's already the good guy. It was like that just would have elevated his pop there.
Missed opportunity right there for you, Kassius Ohno. Missed opportunity. So now for our overalls here, my good would have to be, I think I said this once earlier in the show, but just to reiterate, after being stagnant for 20 years, War Games delivered without a question. Dale, what was your good?
Absolutely. That's my good. I know that we did the War Games from 1995, and when just looking at those two in themselves, is like this one absolutely was great. The other one from 1995 was kind of just meh. One of the highlights, though, is the fact that they did remove the ceiling from here, is like, and it opens up what they can do inside the rings. So yeah, absolutely. My good is basically yours. I just thought the War Games match, really for me though, it was great from beginning to end because of the three guys you had in there at the beginning, and then everything that happened once the match officially started.
And as crazy as this might seem, by them removing the roof from War Games, I'm telling you, the match became safer. And I know you're going to say, Tyler, you're absolutely out of your freaking mind by saying that the match became safer. All you had to do is go back and watch the War Games where Sid went to powerbomb Brian Pillman and his feet hit the roof and then he came down right on his head. Seeing that alone, that they had no room to move, especially like the bigger guys and whatnot, they made that match safer by removing the tops of the cages there. So now for me, the bad would have to be for this one, there weren't really any major swerves tonight. I could say, you know, that Cien Almas capturing his first NXT title, that was a bit of a surprise for some. I think that was a bit of an upset. But we've kind of gotten used to these big swerves that kind of come after they run the copyright and courtesies towards the end of the show. Dale, what's your thoughts on your bad for the show?
My bad isn't really anything from tonight, but it was more so just the pairing of Roderick Strong and AOP. It just didn't make any sense. It's like, obviously, all three men is like worked together great. It's like, and when they came out, I kind of made the note of, oh, look, it's AOP and Roderick Strong versus the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
They both have that that look. Is like the camo police suit look there, but I just thought it was weird, a weird setup that basically Roderick joined AOP because they needed another person because AOP's feuding with Sanity and Roderick Strong didn't want to join the Undisputed Era. So it's like, let's put them together.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, that whole concept. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that one. So for the ugly for this one, I think this has got to be the most obvious one of the show. My goodness, Alexander Wolf's. Woo! Props to you, brother, because that guy's head looked like some ground up hamburger meat towards the end, and they kept on showing close-ups. That's what really surprised the hell out of me, because WWE really shies away from blood, but we got plenty of good shots of how cut up his head was after that spot to the table, and they even showed the tables with the blood still soaked on it. I was just like, wow. What's your thoughts, Dale?
Absolutely. There's nothing that's going to be any uglier than that, and it was just crazy. It's like when they did the big Adam Cole, Roderick Strong spot from the top of the cage, Alexander Wolf was nowhere to be found because they were treating his head through the cage. As when you saw one of the angles, like his head is up against the side of the cage, and you got the medical staff working on him. I just can't believe that he came back in to even do the other spot.
Yeah,
where he took the one last spot before he rolled over, and then basically when after that last spot, he's up against the side of the cage, like with his head on his arm, and you just see it like pouring down his head as they finish the match. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. So whoever it was, I can't remember. It might have been my buddy Robert Harper, who always has something to chime in and say on Facebook. He said, "Oh, there's not going to be any blood." Well, you, my friend, were wrong. There was actually some color shown in this year's War Games. So now, hey, your favorite part of the show, Dale, on the no gimmicks scale from 1 to 5, what do you give NXT Takeover War Games 2017?
Oh shoot, I gotta go. You know what? I want to rate this one pretty good because I just liked it. It's a 3.75.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just go slightly a little bit higher than that and give it just a solid 4, because there was nothing, like I said, really in this show that really stood out as bad. All the matches I thought were either from good, to very good to just like flat out excellent with the War Games. And I think War Games have received so much hype and whatnot for them to actually deliver on their promise and give us a good match. I got to give them some credit for that. Hey, so one thing is for sure, me and Dale can sit up here and talk about NXT Takeover War Games 2017 all night long, but we have come to the end of this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast, so thank you for tuning in for our recap, good, the bad, and the ugly, and our like or dislike of War Games Takeover 2017. We are No Gimmicks, No Image, all wrestling all the time. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share our videos.
No gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you ain't hearing. Reporting live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we want.